Gorilla thought cutting hair was easy money. Buzz, snip, cash, done. He pictured a chair, a mirror, and a line of customers out the door, all of them tipping like he'd personally invented confidence. He didn't picture the guy who wants just a trim. That guy would come later. That guy would test him. But right now, Gorilla was still in the fantasy. In the fantasy, Gorilla owns the vibe. Good playlist, good lighting, a little neon sign that says open, glowing like a promise. Gorilla imagined regulars, loyal ones, guys who'd say the usual, and Gorilla would just know. He imagined tips stacking up like bamboo at dinner time. He imagined being his own boss, which in Gorilla's head meant no boss at all, which is the most expensive misunderstanding in business history. Freedom, Gorilla thought. Scissors and freedom. Then Gorilla opened the shop, and reality walked in wearing a clipboard. First it was the license, then the insurance, then a man in a polo shirt measuring the sink for code compliance, which Gorilla did not know was a phrase that could ruin a Tuesday. Then came chair rent. Yes, rent for a chair, inside a shop Gorilla already pays rent for. Rent inside rent. A landlord's landlord energy that Gorilla did not consent to but somehow agreed to anyway, because the lease was 14 pages and Gorilla skimmed it like a text message. Then came the products. Premium clippers, premium blades, a beard oil so expensive Gorilla suspected it was bottled by hand under a full moon. Then came the review. 1 star. Barber seemed distracted. Gorilla was not distracted. Gorilla was doing tax math in his head while holding scissors, which is technically multitasking, but the internet does not care about technicalities. Gorilla stared at that 1 star for 11 minutes. 11 minutes he will never get back, spent defending his honor to a screen that cannot hear him. Then came payroll. Gorilla hired an apprentice. Young guy, talented, also mysteriously unavailable every time there's a mess to clean, and mysteriously very available every time there's a paycheck to collect. The apprentice wants Fridays off. The apprentice wants a raise. The apprentice wants to know if the shop does team bonding. Gorilla did not know owning a barbershop meant becoming a therapist, a landlord, an accountant, and a summer camp counselor, all before lunch, which he still hasn't eaten. Then came Monday. Nobody told Gorilla about Monday. Monday, the shop is a museum. Empty chairs, empty register. Gorilla standing there, holding scissors like a man holding a microphone at a party nobody came to. And then right when Gorilla starts to spiral, in walks the guy. Just a trim, the guy says. Gorilla nods. Simple. Fine. 10 minutes, easy money. 45 minutes later, Gorilla is still there. The guy wants a little shorter here. Then, actually, can you even it out? Then a full debate on symmetry that would make a geometry teacher weep. Gorilla checks the clock. The clock checks Gorilla back, unimpressed. This is the part nobody puts in the fantasy. Nobody dreams about chair rent. Nobody fantasizes about sterilizing combs in blue liquid at 11 p.m. while eating cold bamboo out of a takeout box, because there was no time for lunch, only time for survival. Nobody imagines the new shop that opens 2 blocks down, with lower prices and a bigger sign, stealing Tuesday's customers like it's a hobby. Gorilla starts checking their Instagram. Big mistake. Their shop looks like a spaceship. Marble counters, a fridge stocked with drinks Gorilla's never heard of, a barber doing a fade so clean it looks illegal. Gorilla looks at his own shop. 1 clippers, 1 chair, 1 slightly crooked open sign that he now suspects is judging him. This is where the comparison starts. And once comparison starts, it doesn't stop politely. It moves in. It brings luggage. Gorilla starts wondering if he should get a fridge too. A better sign. A logo redesign. A photographer. A social media guy. A second chair he can't afford. For a rush of customers he doesn't have. Gorilla starts spending money to look successful, which is a very efficient way of becoming less successful. Gorilla buys the fridge. Fills it with the same unfamiliar drinks. Nobody buys them. They sit there sweating quietly, judging Gorilla from inside the glass, a small refrigerated monument to a decision made at midnight and regretted by morning. Gorilla redesigns the logo 3 times in 1 week. The new logo looks exactly like the old logo, just more expensive. Gorilla downloads an app that tracks how many followers the shop has gained. Then Gorilla checks it every 40 minutes, like the number might suddenly explain why the rent is due. It does not. At night, Gorilla lies on the floor of the shop, staring at the ceiling, chest rising and falling like it's trying to escape his ribs. Gorilla beats his chest. Once. Twice. Not in triumph, in release. Like letting air out of something that's been holding its breath since Monday. He reaches for bamboo, chews it slowly, tastes nothing. This is what burnout does. It doesn't announce itself, it just quietly turns the volume down on everything, including bamboo, including joy, including the reason Gorilla started this in the first place. Gorilla starts asking the question every business owner eventually asks, usually at 1 a.m., usually on the floor. Did I build a shop? Or did I build a cage with better lighting? Weeks pass. Gorilla keeps showing up. Not because the fantasy is alive anymore. The fantasy died somewhere around chair rent. Gorilla keeps showing up because that's what's left after fantasy leaves. Just the showing up. And slowly, without meaning to, Gorilla starts noticing something. It's not the fade that brings people back. It's the 15 minutes of actually listening. It's remembering a name. It's the small, unglamorous, unphotographable moment where a stressed-out customer sits down and for 20 minutes doesn't have to be anything. Gorilla realizes the haircut was never really the product. The product was trust, consistency, showing up on a Monday even when the shop is empty and the mirror is the only one clapping. Gorilla stops checking the spaceship shop's Instagram. He deletes the follower app. Not dramatically, just quietly. The way you stop checking on an ex. He gives the apprentice Fridays off. Turns out a rested apprentice sweeps faster than a resentful one. Nobody teaches you that in business school, because business school doesn't have a barbershop floor to sweep. He keeps the fridge, fills it with water instead. People actually drink water. Who knew? Gorilla starts trimming the parts of the business that don't matter. The extra products nobody buys. The second chair nobody sits in. The comparison that was never going to pay rent anyway. Turns out cutting things away is its own skill. Nobody warns you that running a business is just a longer, more expensive haircut. You keep trimming until what's left actually looks like you. One afternoon, the door opens. It's the guy. Same guy, just a trim, he says. Gorilla almost laughs. Gorilla knows exactly how long just a trim actually takes now. Gorilla knows it's never just anything, but this time, Gorilla doesn't check the clock. Gorilla just nods, picks up the scissors and starts. Because somewhere between the chair rent and the empty Mondays and the spaceship shop with the fridge full of unfamiliar drinks, Gorilla learned the real lesson hiding under all of it. Everyone wants just something. Just a trim. Just a quick favor. Just 5 more minutes. Nobody tells you just is the most expensive word in business. Nobody warns you that easy money usually means somebody else is about to make it hard. The scissors keep moving. The playlist keeps playing. The neon sign keeps glowing. A little crooked, a little tired, still open. Gorilla used to think success would feel like the fantasy. Cash, tips, freedom, ease. Now Gorilla thinks success just feels like Monday. Showing up anyway, sweeping the floor even when nobody's watching, sharpening the blade even when there's no line out the door, answering just a trim with patience instead of a sigh, because patience, it turns out, is the actual product Gorilla's been selling this whole time. The haircut was just the receipt. Chewing the bamboo even when you can't taste it yet, trusting that eventually you will. And if you don't, well, there's always Tuesday.